Okay, we're live, just so you know. Okay, hello, welcome. We're live at the Thursday, December 14th CDC meeting, the last meeting of this calendar year. And with us tonight, we have Ben Garbett on my right, and we have Brooklyn Barnhart, who is here on my left, and you should put that in front so people are like, there you go. And so got roll call there, and so the agenda did not get printed, but I've just got it projected, and if you guys have any questions or anything like that, I'm going to scroll down so you can look ahead as much as you might want to. The major drive of this meeting here tonight is, there are a couple of key items on here, but in item number 5, it's basically trying to make a list for the record of stuff that has been discussed and met on in the past year, so that in 2024, these might be things to consider continuing to work on as a committee, if you're on the committee, because technically Kelly will make committee assignments in the first meeting of the new year. But I mean, it kind of makes sense that you guys will be on the committee, and if you are, you get to set your own agenda, you can do whatever you want, but these are things that you might want to consider, considering work is in the middle of being done on all of these. All right. And I made this offer to the Utilities Committee earlier. And I'm making this, I think more to Brooklyn than to you. And you can feel free to say no. I'm not trying to overstep my bounds here, but January 1st, I become a citizen again. And if you need information or background or context for any of this, you can call or text. We can meet, whatever you want to do. Just because I'm not officially on council anymore doesn't mean I'm not willing to help or, smooth the transition or even, whatever. I'm saying I'm available if you need it moving forward. And Mick, I hope you knew that. Okay. All right. So we're going to have to table the approval of minutes from the last meeting because we don't have those. What'll just happen is the next meeting you'll have to do multiple ones. So I'm going to, unless you guys have any comments, yeah, Bink.
We'll be approving them in the council meeting as well. They're in the packet. Do we want to?
Oh, that's not a terrible idea. We can pass out our own packets right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll just, I got you. Ready? Look at that. So yeah, we can look over that. Good thinking, Bink. Yep. So I think, as you can see, there's a fairly strong correlation between what's written here and what's written up there. Bink, you were not at this.
Yeah, I would abstain.
Yeah. Bink, is there any adjustments or inaccuracies you'd like to address that you see on this here?
I didn't think we looked that in depth at the policy though. Did we spend quite a bit of time on that special events policy? I remember talking about it briefly.
Yeah. So that's great. Let's move into that because that's the next item up there too, for sure. So the last CDC meeting, we did not spend a ton of time on the special events policy because it is at the end game on that. Okay. 2 times ago we spent a lot, and 3 times ago we spent a ton. And I think it was even a separate meeting just for that, if I'm recalling correctly. I don't remember. So I can tell you that Solicitor Braun had contacted me several days ago about he wanted to make one wording change in the thing, and he will mention it tonight. That wording change was something like we changed "and" to "and/or." I mean, it was literally that small, but it was a good idea. I'm not minimizing it, but my point is we're at the point on that policy where we're doing that kind of change as opposed to massive substantive kind of stuff.
Yeah, everything else. Yeah, that's kind of the question. I guess let's go ahead and approve the minutes and then talk about that next. It makes sense, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd motion to approve.
Okay, and I'm going to second. Yeah, exactly. And so we're good at that. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, bingo. Did you want to then talk more about the?
Well, that was the question is, has the full council been able to see the finished product of this?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was sent out.
Okay.
I don't know, I mean, everybody's had it available to them. Yes.
Right.
And I really, the special events policy, if I could summarize it, especially for people who are going to tune in and watch us later, the three things I could say about it is, one, it's not really that different from things we've officially and unofficially had in the past. Two, we tried to streamline it, make it easier for people with checklists and things that they can have to know how to do it. And three is that we tried to put it into the hands of the village administrator, because two reasons. One, they know most what's going on, and two, in the past, and I'm not complaining, it's just that people, when they had a question, like if they had a question for security for the event, they might call Rob. And if they had a question for, electrical usage, can we have hookups, something, they'd call other departments. And we're really trying to avoid that a little bit because a lot of the questions tend to be the same. And so village administrator can kind of like give them quick, easy information without interrupting the Chief Friedland's job. And if something weird comes up, then they can talk to Rob or something like that. Also, the checklist that we have too was designed to most frequently asked questions, kind of tick those off.
Will these be available online?
Yes.
They'll all be available online?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, they'll be available
In the village office?
in the, speaking of the village administrator's office, they will be available in the village administrator's office.
What's that?
We have the special events policy up for vote tonight, and the things like the checklist and like how to apply for a special events will be available in paperwork form in the office and digitally online. Yep. Good to see you, Kelly. So,
Okay.
yep.
Hopefully everything will.
All right. So
They changed over our web provider or something yesterday. I don't know, we're having glitches in it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
couldn't pay online today and some other issues popped up. So they're working the bugs out right now. So, but it's where we can go in and do our own changes. And, we have a system. So.
Do you know where what was the bottleneck? Was it us? Was it the provider?
No, I think it was just, anytime we do any type of changeover, we just changed over all the utility computers in the back.
Okay.
And you're tying in software reading out in the field, and you've got to tie that into, who's the, I can't think of the group, we've been looking for years. But there's just
Structure point?
getting everybody to work together
Yeah,
to get the
okay.
computers to read.
Cool.
Agree to agree.
Okay.
So, but it's not uncommon.
Yep. Thank you very much. And if you are out there and you discovered an interruption in service today, that'll be probably cleaned up real soon, huh? Hopefully.
But it's already correct.
Oh, it's already corrected.
One of
Good.
them's corrected.
Okay.
I think we had another one with the police fine side of it, but,
Rob, Chief Friedland had mentioned that. Yeah.
okay. And I think they were getting ready to correct that before I left. This
Cool.
afternoon, so.
Thank you, Kelly.
Hopefully by tomorrow we'll be all taken care
Go. Ladies and gentlemen, a guest appearance by our acting village administrator, Kelly Jones. So special events policy, any more questions or comments?
just, I mean, It is in the agenda for tonight,
Mhm.
but I didn't see in there the nuisance animal
So,
resolution. Is it in the agenda tonight as well, or is it going to?
yeah, are we ready to move on to that? Are you okay with?
I am.
Well, I kind of had a question.
Yeah,
So is there like huge changes like in the policy now from what it was before, but just not written?
So there are a couple of things that were done that we maybe were unofficial policy that we put in there, but really this is pretty standard operating procedure. When we did anything that 99% of it is not new, and the 1% that is new is we looked at other municipalities and common sense things. There's nothing dramatic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That sign too. Do you want it in here?
The hallway. When Kelly gets here, I'll stop and this meeting will be over maybe about 15 minutes to go, and I'll come out and help you.
Are they going to do presentations before? It's going to be a long meeting.
It's going to be a long meeting tonight. Yes, sir.
I think they did the presentations before, after public comment the last time.
Yep.
Because we're going to have people here that are going to want to get out.
Yeah.
They're not going to won't wait till the end.
No. We trying to do it a little bit secretly. So I'm on to present for Cortico, and I'm going to hijack that a little bit and do it at that point right after public comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, I was going to put the sign over here so we could just step in and get it.
Oh, yeah, it's not a terrible idea. I think Kelly was thinking the hallway, but she'll be here in a couple minutes. We'll figure it out from, yeah, thank you.
Try and get that before then.
Legit. Thank you I appreciate that. Yeah.
it's sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's common practice that the village administrator can cancel activities at any time at their sole discretion.
Yeah,
That's
so
fine.
a lot comes down to emergency kinds of things.
Oh, okay.
It's not,
It's
not
not gonna be
designed to
personal
happen.
opinion or whatever like that. Kind of threw me off. At their sole discretion. Okay.
weather, lightning,
Okay.
it's that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's what that's about. And I will say this too, and I think Bink knows this, but just in case, this has been run through the village solicitor
Okay.
at least 3 times.
Okay.
So the possibility for error and misinterpretation and all that kind of stuff, Joe has looked very carefully to make sure that those are filtered out.
Okay.
And not, yeah.
Okay.
So the short answer to your question is, a lot of times they allow for things to be possible that 99.9% of the time are never going to be done.
Okay.
But there's safety things sometimes they have to consider and stuff emergency situations. Yeah. All good to look at raccoons and groundhogs? So you're right, Bink. I thought this was going to be on tonight. And that's why I wrote this agenda before this came out. And so I'm sad that this is still being reviewed for legal language, because they're in their they're gestating right now. They're carrying babies, and I hate, it's a little cold, but I'm just saying, one now is 5 in a couple months. But no, it's not in the packet, and I'm not 100% positive why.
So that's just catching and releasing somewhere else, or?
So my understanding is that for catch release, you have to be you have to be especially certified,
Oh, okay.
whereas just taking care of them, I have small children are watching out there, is not doesn't require wasn't there some kind of special licensure or something that they were talking about they had for the catch and release?
For the catch and release, yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
Okay.
yeah.
Just getting rid of them is better for everyone except the raccoons.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, my area is overrun with them pretty bad.
And the key is right now, if we can get them before they have their litters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
A final version of that soon, though.
So this is then for you guys to move forward with. I would drop 4 under 5 now and say the first meeting of the new year, I would invite the village administrator to be at the meeting. or he might just show up. And be able to push that forward, because I agree with you, that's a time-sensitive and important topic. Yeah. Hey, we're talking about raccoons and groundhogs.
What's that?
We're talking about raccoons and groundhogs. Yeah. So,
Lots of them.
yeah, that's the thing. So maybe that might be, so one of the things you guys are gonna have to talk about in conjunction with the new mayor is who is gonna have the leadership position in CDC. Sort of pointing fingers at each other. It's up to you guys, because you don't even know who the third person is yet. But the idea is, technically, in just an organizational sense, the committee chair creates the agenda. As you know, I didn't have your digits, Brooklyn. So, but what I always do is I will contact the other people one at a time, because you can't do it both, because that would be violation of sunshine law.
Yeah.
But I sent Bink a text that said, do you have any items for the agenda tonight? And then I compile stuff, because Bink might have heard stuff from people in the village approaching him, and they have good ideas and all that stuff. The committee chair basically just puts that all together in a document and sends it to Brian, our secretary. I always try to do it 48 hours in advance.
Okay.
And that's where this right here comes from, is from the committee members and citizens just throwing stuff at us. Yeah. So you guys got to think about that. If you're both on the committee, you might want to move that to the top of the list, because it might be a time-sensitive issue. Kelly, do you know why the raccoons and groundhogs is not in tonight's packet for? Yeah, okay. I think,
It's not gonna be here himself.
I know.
Under sedation this morning, so he's not gonna be able to make it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any discussion even on, it's been a crazy week, to say the least, and
I know.
trying to get everything in front of you tonight. And there's still more stuff coming, so.
There was not a judgment question. I was just,
No,
okay.
I can't answer the question.
That's cool.
I've never heard the discussion, to be honest.
I believe, because this document has been seen by us, I believe this is now with Solicitor Braun and being checked over for
I know he has
crossing
a
teeth.
lot of stuff in front of him.
Yep. All right.
We have some unforeseen stuff happen here in the last few days.
Yeah.
And took precedence.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, do you want to talk more about raccoons and groundhogs? I mean, you do what you want, but I'd move that pretty top of the list kind of stuff. Yeah. You feeling okay, Bink?
Moving on?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm fine with that.
All right. So, items 5A through 5F, I feel like we could either spend 10 seconds on each one of those, or literally a half an hour on each one, just talking about the organization of them. So my recommendation, which you can reject, or perfectly fine, is to just kind of quick mention, and then you can prioritize them as you will, and and set your agendas in the future. Again, if you have any need for me to come and help out over the phone or whatever, or in person, I'd be happy to do that. So 5A is the historic signs put in place. So we have yes, 5C is something different. Okay, is the large decorative signs. There's the one in the, yep, out there. And there, in theory, would be at least one and possibly two more. And all of that is in place. Well, not all of that is in place. Most of that is in place. There needs to be some T's crossed and I's dotted out of this committee. And then I strongly recommend, based on some past experience, that it get voted on in full council, the placements of them when the time comes. Just trying to, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just trying to be what I've seen. Yeah. The next item, I'm definitely going to turn over to Bink, or perhaps even to Bink's wonderful better half. So Bink, what you got for us here?
This is kind of her mock-up of the what we had for a brochure. And so we're waiting on some photos. I've got those coming in the morning, I think, and then she'll just plug them in. Because everything's changed from that old sign. And she also gave us another option, like to have, instead of a brochure like this, just having a rack card.
Great idea.
So, and we could do both. One of the things that she suggested is, like, on the back of the brochure, like if you see the trifold part, you'll see this little blank portion that would says Brown County Chamber of Commerce. Is maybe even, we need to get this application online as well on our website. And she could create a QR code that you could just scan and then take you right to that. So we have to make this, I think it's near the bottom, G, a welcome packet for historic district businesses. I think it would make it a lot more, we've got to get that out there to people more, like, clearly. And I just think that if we don't have some online version of it, we're going to miss the boat a little bit.
So I'm going to simply put subs under your brochure and the welcome packet to get those materials online, which is, 3 words to encompass some work that's going to need to be done, but it's not massive, and it just hopefully to remind you guys of what you might want to prioritize in the future. So.
And then, I've got some other copies. So if you can just, in your own time, when you have a chance, review it, just make sure there's no, like, I usually catch things that are there for spelling and grammar and just mistakes, but I may not, especially if I am just familiar with the document already. So just look over, see if there's anything you think needs to be changed, and then we'll present it to the Historic Signage Committee when we all meet again.
So I'm going to just add, if it's okay with you, Bink, review mock-ups and return to next meeting with feedback. Cool. Yeah, and what was I correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't supposed to get cookies, right? I was supposed to get tea and coffee for your wife. She was.
Bruce says he brings snacks.
No. We volunteered this poor woman to do this.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, we really ought to, take care of her, say thank you kind of thing. So, all right. But you could definitely tell her this is awesome. I love the idea of the card. Yeah. 'Cause I picture like out at like the home place, the racks they have, like welcome to Adams County, that kind of stuff. Yep, exactly. Cool. Other things on that, Bink?
No, we'll just approve it at our next.
Yeah.
When the full committee is here with us.
Very cool. So, in Brooklyn, did you get these?
I did.
Okay, cool. Just make sure. Cool. Thank you, Bink. Okay. The secondary signs for the village. What those are so we have the larger historical signs for the main entrances. For smaller entrances, let's say like free soil at the village limits, we have the signs approved. The signs are approved. The funding's approved. Everything. They just need to be voted on. Again, I would bring to full council and purchased. They're really amazingly not expensive, and they give the town a really nice cohesive kind of you're welcome from all angles sort of a thing. So again, that's not something we're going to be able to do this evening. So that's when you guys put that on your priority moving forward. But like a lot of that work is already done, and it should be a quick check box that would make the town look pretty sharp. So let's see here. I think, get the historical signs approved. I made that a separate item. I think I was that concerned about it. So that just goes back under both 5A and 5C is bring it to full council for your sanity's sake. The next down you're down is a 5-year park plan. And I have to say that credit where it's due, this was just a huge area of strength for Nancy. She did a lot with this, and where you guys want to go with it is completely and utterly up to you. If you want my opinion in terms of timing, I think a couple of these things up here might need some immediate looking at, but below that, you're good now. What we found is if you do things piecemeal, it looks piecemeal, it doesn't really work as well. So having a plan, and I personally would check with the village administrator because the grant money coming in could really impact that a lot.
For the basketball court?
Oh, well, there's that, but I'm talking about the larger plan between the park and the square area and things like that. So that would be, there's a lot more involvement with that we could do that even a broad plan would be good to plug in, like prioritize. This needs to happen in 25, this needs to happen in 26, even that broad, I think will save you a lot of hassle. Yeah, okay.
Let me ask this, is there a way to get, and I forgive my ignorance, but there's an additional 20 acres that the park owns, right? Where is that exactly located? Is it behind the old Pomida building? Is that where it is, or?
No. So if you're going into the park, do you remember where the Boy Scout trail used to be?
No.
I believe
Like, no,
the Eagle Scouts, somebody did an Eagle Scout project, but if you're standing with your back to the parking lot, looking down the park, it's on the left, it's the wooded area to the left of, like down by where the dog park is.
Okay,
and-
yeah. I
And
know where-
further
Okay,
west of that.
perfect. Just wanted to clear that in my own mind.
There's so much potential. There's
Okay.
so many cool things I personally will happily come back if invited by administration and design a disc golf course to go through there. It'd be really cool. I mean, but there's so much potential in there. And of course, money is the thing, but with some of the grants that are rolling in, some of them apply or could apply if you chose to that area. It's worth spending some time on for sure. It's cool. Yeah. 5F, I'm going to confess to not knowing a ton about. I remember discussing sidewalk clearance and space for wheelchairs, and I believe this had to do with around Courthouse Square and putting materials out. Is that what it was, Bink?
I think that's what we were talking about when different businesses, like we talked about the freestanding signs that they put out, and if they put out merchandise sometimes that there was some concern that it might hinder traffic through there, foot traffic.
And I believe this, if I'm not mistaken, this was a citizen suggested item, probably from someone who was more impacted by it than I am, kind of a thing. So the idea would be to check into the state ordinance on that, because I'm 99% sure we don't have anything in our local governance about that, and just make sure that we're ADA compliant, or probably a better way to put it is that the merchants uptown here on the square can do the thing that they do that's going to bring, showcase their business and stuff like that, and still do it in an appropriate way. I don't think this is about stopping anything from happening as much as it is making it happen for everybody, kind of a thing. But Bink, do you remember any more on that?
That's what we talked about, was because it came up in the historic signage meeting when we were talking specifically about the signs that people put out, like
Right.
the sandwich signs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that is that necessarily something that falls under our purview, really? I mean, is it something that we are to be concerned with necessarily? I mean, not that we don't, as a council, we should be concerned, but under the CDC specifically, should we be talking about that? I mean, we can talk about it concerning the signage.
Yeah.
Because that's under the historic signage committee. So it's a good question. I think we need to just look up the ordinance and see what the requirements are, and then go from there when we meet again.
That makes sense. As a starting point is fundamental base question, is this even our thing? And then from there, yeah. So, and I confess I did not do that for this meeting. I take blame for that. I could tell you I'm busy, but everybody's busy, so it's not an excuse. But that'd probably be a good thing to look into there, yeah. Okay, so I think with the welcome packet for historic district business, I think we've got that. We kind of mentioned that too. We have one. It definitely needs to be updated for sure. And when we update it, I think it'll be really useful for people to get to that online, as well as what we envisioned was if someone comes in person to talk to, like we've had business people like, hey, I remember when Dorsey's were putting in Ulysses, right? To be able to have something like, welcome, here's the stuff you need to get started, like a quick start package. We have something like that, but it's not, it's very much dated and bluntly, I think could use prettying up, could be, because people judge, surface things, they judge that kind of thing. So, it's up to you guys to prioritize that. I think that's a pretty nice item there too, but yeah. So after going over previous minutes, talking to people, those are the key items that, all I'm trying to do is just share out and keep balls rolling, keep juggling going on so you guys can be successful in January. But at this point, it's anything else you guys want to bring up, any questions? I mentioned committees and leadership. It's even premature to talk about it, but you can think about it. But is there anything else we need to, because normally at this point, we'd be doing these things, actually getting the packet out or look, what I'm saying? But I just didn't even think that was appropriate for this meeting because I felt like this was a transition meeting as opposed to a get business done kind of meeting. So
I think it's bringing Brooklyn up to speed, and then
right.
I think we, in our first meeting of the new year, then we just set up a path of what we want to do and start hitting everything. And probably, like you said, prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
And 'cause I think we've spent an inordinate amount of time on the signage thing, personally. I think it's fine and it's good. I think we need to do that, but that's the only thing I remember from most of these meetings. So I think when we get the new committee together, and then Kelly can appoint whoever is going to be on it with us, and we'll go from there.
Maybe, and Bink, if I'm not summarizing your words correctly, let me know, but maybe I'm going to put on here, maybe a prime order of business would be to create an agenda for the year to prior to, yeah, is that, okay.
That's a good idea. And we need to have, kind of need to have some deadlines, because it's just sometimes if you could drag things out,
We can talk.
yeah.
Yeah, we do
A
talk.
lot of discussion that can be had, but we gotta make decisions.
Yep. Anything else, Bink, that you can,
I think that's good.
anything else,
Oh,
Brooklyn?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. So I'm not gonna lie, with this being such a busy evening, I would not have a problem with looking for a motion to adjourn.
So
Seconded.
Hold on. Yep. Great, fantastic. So thank you. I would like to just say real quickly, thank you. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and I'm sure things will go wonderfully and smoothly. And we're still live, so give me a second to turn the thing off before you start telling me what you really think about it.